If you're thinking about moving to the Phoenix metro area, the biggest question you're probably asking is, where do people actually buy? Because Phoenix is not just one place. It's a mix of suburbs, downtown areas, and pockets that all feel completely different. And choosing the wrong one can completely change your experience. It's kind of like showing up to a potluck when you brought a bag of chips and everyone else brought something homemade. Technically you're there, but something just feels off. So in this video, I'm breaking down where most buyers are landing right now, what each area is actually like, and why each one attracts a different type of person. But real quick, when you picture your life here, are you thinking more quiet and suburban, or do you actually want to be around things to do? Because that answer matters more than anything we're about to talk about. My name is Koussevitzky. I'm a local realtor here in the Phoenix area, and I help people relocate and figure out what actually fits their lifestyle, not just their budget. Alright, let's talk areas. Let's start in the East Valley, because this is where a lot of people end up focusing, and there's a reason for that. First up is Chandler. If you're in North Chandler, you're going to be closer to the Loop 101 and Loop 202, which makes a huge difference for commuting. You're also closer to downtown Chandler, an underrated spot in my opinion, which has breweries, bars, restaurants, so you have a lot of stuff to do. And if you're a person that doesn't want to drive 20-25 minutes every time you leave the house, being this close to the freeway matters more than people think. Homes here tend to be a little bit older, built from the 70s to the 90s, but you get more variety, sometimes a bigger lots, and more flexibility without strict HOAs in some areas. And price-wise, this is one of the more accessible parts of Chandler. Homes are gonna fall somewhere between the mid 400s to about $500,000, depending on condition and location. Now, completely different story. If you go down in South Chandler, everything feels newer and more planned out. This is where you see master planned communities, walking paths, lakes, neighborhoods like Fulton Ranch and Arcadia. It's quieter, it's more suburban, and it's more polished. But here's the trade-off, usually paying more for that lifestyle, and you're a little further out from the center of everything. Most homes are going to start in the low 600,000s and go up from there, especially as you get to nicer communities. So it really comes down to what matters to you: location and convenience, or newer homes and a quieter environment. And right next to Chandler, you've got Gilbert, and Gilbert has a completely different personality. Gilbert is one of the most community-focused areas in the East Valley. You've got places like the Riparian Reserve, which is great for walking, being outside, and just getting out of the house. You've got downtown Gilbert, built around the Heritage District. Restaurants, coffee shops, weekend markets. It actually feels active. And if you're someone that wants that neighborhood feel where people are outside, families are at the parks, there's always something going on, this is usually where you end up. And price-wise, Gilbert tends to sit a little higher overall. Most homes are going to be in that $550 to $650 range, again depending on the area. Schools are also a big factor here. Gilbert has some of the highest rated schools in the area, which is why some families specifically target it. Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, hit the subscribe button. I put a new video out every week, and I would hate for you to miss one. Alright, let's say you're listening to this and thinking, I don't really want suburbs. That's where Central Phoenix comes in. This is a completely different lifestyle. You've got downtown, restaurants, nightlife, sports, concerts, coffee shops, all within a pretty tight area. Some parts are actually walkable, which is rare out here. But this is one of those areas people either love or they move out pretty quickly. If you want space and quiet, it's probably not the right fit. But if you want energy, culture, and things happening around you all the time, Central Phoenix is where you want to be. Price-wise, it really depends what you're looking for. Condos can start in the 400s, and single-family homes are usually in the 600s and up, especially closer to core areas. Now, right next to that is Arcadia, and this is where things get interesting. Arcadia gives you that central location. You're close to Phoenix, close to Scottsdale, but it feels more residential. You've got bigger lots, mature trees, and older homes with character. You're also right by Camelback Mountain, so hiking is right there. And this is one of those areas where people move, and they tend to stay. It's just a really balanced lifestyle. And with that comes a higher price point. Most homes are going to be in the $750,000 to $900,000 range and up, depending on size and updates. Now let's talk about Scottsdale. Scottsdale is one of the most talked about areas in the Phoenix metro, and honestly, the hype is there for a reason. But it's not just one thing. If you're near Old Town, it's very social. restaurants, nightlife, walkability. If you go further north, it becomes more residential. You have golf courses, hiking, and quieter neighborhoods. Scottsdale is one of those places where your weekends are kind of built in. You've got things to do without really thinking about it. Schools are strong, amenities are everywhere, and overall, it just has a very polished feel. And price-wise, Scottsdale has a pretty wide range. Condos might be in the $400,000 to $700,000, while single-family homes are typically $800,000 to well over $1 million, depending on location. Quick pause. If you've got a city that you feel should have made the list, drop it in the comments below. I would love to hear where you're considering moving. And then there's Paradise Valley. This one's a different category. It's smaller, quieter, more private, large homes, big lots, a lot of luxury. You're not here for walkability. You're here for space and privacy. And honestly, you're not here for convenience. You're here because you don't need convenience. You're close to everything anyway. But with that, this is one of the most expensive areas in the valley. Homes are going to start around $2 million and go up from there. So how do you actually choose? Because this is where people get stuck. And here's the truth. No one really tells you this. You don't just pick Phoenix. You pick the version of Phoenix that fits your lifestyle. Do you want to be near restaurants and activity, or quiet neighborhoods? Do you want newer construction, or do you care more about location? Do schools matter? Commute? Lifestyle? Because each of these areas gives you something completely different. And if you pick the wrong one, even a great house can feel like the wrong decision. So if you're trying to figure out what actually makes sense for you, based on your lifestyle, your budget, and what your day-to-day would look like here, feel free to reach out. And for more videos like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you on the next video.